How's it going, guys? Hope you guys had a great week. So I'm back today with a new video, something a little bit different for you guys. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this. So I mentioned this in one of my live streams, but I was basically invited along to appear as a guest on a podcast to basically talk about all things Mass Effect, but mostly giving kind of my impressions and thoughts on the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. The channel that I was invited to is called Checkpoint Reached Podcast. It's really, really good channel. They cover a lot of kind of gaming news topics and things, and often invite guests along to speak on it. Usually there's like 3 people to talk about, give their impressions and thoughts on it. So this video is basically the entire podcast. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. So thank you so much to Checkpoint Reach Podcast for inviting me along. I had a really good time, and the discussions that we had were just really, really interesting. So I wanted to share it with you guys. Please watch the video and enjoy it. I will put a link to their YouTube channel, their Twitter account in the description below. Please go and check them out, show them some love, show them some support, and let me know what your thoughts are on the podcast and what you think of the discussion and the things that we talked about. Please let me know what you thought of it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So without further ado, here is the podcast. Enjoy, guys.
Hello and welcome to the Checkpoint Reach podcast. I'm your host Luke Owens. Today I'm joined by Matty, and we're also joined by our special guest, N7 Kate. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Not too bad. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. We're glad to have you. I reached out on social media. I was like, hey, you're a Mass Effect, into your Mass Effect, so are we.
I don't know what gave it away, really. N7 cap, and I've got the helmet right behind me. Yeah, I'm a big Mass Effect.
Is it wearable?
Yes, it is.
Didn't you have that Mass Effect?
It's the limited edition, collector's edition. It's really cool. It's got 2 lights. It's got like a Paragon light, which is blue, and obviously a Renegade light, which is red. And I wore it for like the start when I started streaming it, but it fogs up really quickly. So I don't think I could be able to play the game wearing this. I
could not imagine trying to wear that and stream at the same time. That's a good effort.
I think it lasted about 5 minutes, and then I was like, yeah, guys, I'm really struggling to breathe. I'm going to have to take this off. But it's really cool. And if you're wearing it with if you've got like an N7 like hoodie or anything, it looks awesome. I just need them now to bring out the armor, so I have like the complete set.
There you go. That's it. That's all you're waiting for. Get that, and then, like you said, you got a complete set. But we reached out because I was like, well, that's the perfect guest to bring on to talk about Mass Effect, and obviously Legendary Edition that recently came out. So before we do get started, if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment with your thoughts below on what we're going to cover. And also, if you are listening to us on any audio platforms, then leave us a nice review, pass on the pod. Again, that'll help the channel grow, so we really appreciate it. But as the title's probably giving it away, we are here to discuss some Mass Effect, and we're going to chat about things that we like about the series and why we got into it, our favourite characters, stuff like that. But first, I do want to start off strong with the Legendary Edition. Just want to get your thoughts, Kate. What do you think of it? Obviously, you've played it quite a bit now, so
yeah, I've played about 27 hours into it. I'm quite close to like the end. Like I just beat Vermeer, like made the big choice there, and I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah, I'm loving it. It's the improvements, the quality. I knew it was a remaster, but I wasn't expecting the extent of the improvements and the quality of life improvements that they've put into the game. Obviously, the visuals are so much better than the original, because I played the original like a couple of weeks ago for this series I was doing on the channel, and like it was hard. Like I had to like go on the PC, like the modding community, like for the PC original is amazing, like some of the mods that they've done, but playing the Legendary Edition, like just the graphics, the textures are it just looks beautiful. It looks gorgeous. I will say they like their lens flare a little bit too much.
Noticed that.
It's like playing, like the Star Trek movie like remake. But it's not just the graphics. It's the gunplay is so much better in the original Mass Effect 1. The weapons actually feel like weapons, and it feels like how good you are. Like you kind of, in the original it was a bit potluck whether you were going to do lots of damage or do very little damage. It felt like it was like a dice roll, like the kind of old Dungeons and Dragons sort of game.
the probability, see how it plays
Yeah,
out.
yeah, exactly. But like in this, it is actually, if you do a headshot, there is actually like headshot damage, and the weapons do feel very responsive. So I've played it through multiple times, but it feels fresh. It feels new. So for people that have played it a long time, it's great for them because it'll be like you get to enjoy the amazing story and the amazing storytelling and characters, but now with gameplay
Extra.
that's not painful like it
Exactly.
was in the original.
Because the the combat, like when you every time, I think most people would probably agree the combat in one was pretty poor.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons. Like I would play it on the easiest difficulty. I'd literally just try and get through that game because I enjoyed the story, like most Mass Effect fans do. But the combat, I just found unbearable. And I mean, to be fair, it's a lot better on the Legendary Edition for sure. The one gripe I still have is I hate the overheating. I don't think I'll ever come over to the side of the overheating.
You prefer the clips then from Mass Effect 2 and 3? Okay.
Yeah, I'm a clip guy. Unfortunately, I can't stand it. But yeah, Matty, how about you, man? You've obviously, because last time we spoke on the podcast, you hadn't bought it, but
I was on the fence, wasn't I?
Yeah, and now you've fallen over.
Now I've paid EA more money.
To the dark side.
Yeah,
Exactly. Well, you were right in saying that Mass Effect is, the first game is essentially the centerpiece of this remaster, because 2 and 3 were already well polished games anyway. So we yet to really play those, but I'm assuming that there's not going to be as many noticeable improvements just because of how poor Mass Effect 1 was, and from a combat standpoint and bugs and just general gameplay. I mean, it's 2007. It's positively a relic, especially in third-person shooter terms. At the time, you only really had sort of Gears of War that had even ventured into the third-person combat space. So to try and, I feel like that game was in development for at least 4 or 5 years, probably on last generation hardware before that. So it's a bit of a nice bit of a change to get such brilliant like gameplay in Mass Effect 1, And definitely, like I said, definitely the centerpiece of the remaster. I'm really enjoying it so far. It is a night and day difference. So
really is.
It's going to be fun to play through the rest of the game. And just, I hadn't played Mass Effect for so long. Just the music when I loaded up the game, I was like, I remember this.
That title music is so good.
I love it. Yeah. I like sometimes when I'm playing it, I just have to stop. It's like, yes, this shit I have to kill. But like, it's like the music is amazing. Like I just played Vermeer and the music in that is just incredible. And I have the soundtracks obviously, so I listen to it a fair bit, but it's the memories if you've played it before that come back. But the music is just incredible. Like in all of them, I think, in 1, 2, and 3.
I agree, actually.
Yeah.
I like all the soundtracks. I haven't obviously experienced 2 or 3 yet because I'm still playing through the first one on the Legendary Edition. So I haven't had that nostalgia hit off them 2 yet. But when I loaded up that Legendary Edition, obviously selected the first game and then got into that title music. Oh my God. I literally just sat there and I was just like, I love it. I didn't even press start for like a good 2 minutes. I was just sat there listening to it thinking, God, it takes me back. And I'm so glad that a lot of people are loving it as well. I feel like, in my personal opinion, Andromeda was all right, in my opinion. I thought it was okay. The only problem it had was trying to live up, obviously, to the Mass Effect name and trilogy. So that was always going to be tough. And then it came out with its problems and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that the Legendary Edition's come out and a lot of people are just enjoying it again. And the fan base and community's kind of coming together just to celebrate it, appreciate it once again. And like Matty said, the very first one does feel outdated when you went back to it. So to have this now, so if you ever want to replay again, you can just jump into this version of Mass Effect 1. It's so good. It's so good. And like, I don't know, we spoke just very briefly off the pod and you were saying how you're trying to savor the moments.
Yeah, not rush it.
I'm kind of the same.
I booked like a week and a half, like off of work, and I've been streaming it like, for the community because I've got quite a large Mass Effect community, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And they've been like, stream it every day. And I'm like, no, I want to savor it. And I want to do everything, like all the side missions. And I've done it a million times, but I still want to talk to everyone and, even the Elcor and the Hana and
Yeah.
like just all the random side missions and stuff. I want to do it all again and kind of take my time with it. Because it's just such a great franchise, and quite a few people have sort of that have never played it before. I've been sort of jumping in, going, well, what should I do? And he tips like, don't rush it. Don't go straight to the next story mission. Like, really talk to this is an RPG. Talk to everyone. And Mass Effect 1 has that more than the others. I think
100%.
as the series went further on, it became a lot more action focused. And even in 2, there were still great characters and great loyalty missions and side missions, but Mass Effect 1 was a lot of the lore building and learning about the different races and learning about the different species and how they all interact and the history and stuff. And that's a side of 1 I absolutely fell in love with and just loved. Yeah. So, I've sort of said to people like, yeah, the gameplay is great. The gameplay is brilliant, but the story and the characters is still where it's at. And that's still there. It's not changed. That is still there. But yeah, I'm like you. I'm like, I want to enjoy it and sort of savor it.
I'm honestly so jealous, of people of people who haven't played it, and they're just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play it now, and I'm like, oh, you're so lucky.
You don't know the
for the first time.
The pain.
The pain of Mass Effect 1.
We've earned it. We've earned our stripes, shall we say? We earned our N7 stripes, like playing the original back in 2007. Exactly. But yeah, like it's been exciting for me, like to see that, like people that haven't played it, which is why I've been covering it and obviously having that content, because I was like, it's amazing. Like, I want to help you as much as possible so you get the full experience out of it and really enjoy it. But it's been exciting to have people sort of tell me about their experiences, like what choices they've made and what if they're playing male shep or femme shep or who they're going to romance or anything like that. And it's been kind of great because some people that played it like we did, like it's a long time ago, like 2007, it's a long time ago. So like people that played it back then, they now have kids and they have their kids that are playing it, so it's that kind of so it's that kind of like next generation of like people playing it, and that's exciting. That's really, really cool. So I love it. I think Mass Effect will be a timeless series. I think it will always have appeal. Doesn't matter whether it's 10, 20, 30 years down the road. It's that kind of series that you can always find something, that you love or you're interested in, because there's so much scope there. So that's exciting, I think. And it's done so well, which makes me even more excited because, hopefully again, that's going to send that signal to EA. Like, no, we don't want surprise mechanics. We don't.
We definitely don't.
We don't. We want good single player like story experiences, and all their big successes in the last kind of few years have been that. Like, Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition, even Star Wars Squadrons, which was amazing. But yeah, like, so hopefully
people are going to vote with their wallet, as in we want more story.
Yeah. And it'd be exciting for them to maybe look at other franchises that they could remaster. Like if they went back and, I don't know, did.
I think the big standout for me in that, even though it's going off topic, would be Dead Space. Because
you loved that, didn't you?
I never played Dead Space.
The first 2 games are masterpieces. Like,
really?
I highly recommend. Yeah, they really are. They really are. If you're into survival horror, I know with survival horror, a lot of people aren't really into it. It's not for everyone. So, but if you are into survival horror, they're both really, really good games. And then Dead Space 3 kind of went down the route of, trying to appeal to a broader audience by changing the gameplay massively. And then sort of, it was still okay, but 1 and 2 are where it's at. Not that I want to advocate giving EA more money, but if they remastered Dead Space 1
but that's
and 2,
a good idea.
I understand that completely, because I'm kind of like that too. Like, I will really look into everything first and be like, whether I choose to cover it or support it or whatever. Like, there've been some good things that they've done, like It Takes Two, which was the just came out this year. Which
we started playing that recently.
Amazing. So incredible. I played it with like my partner. I played it with him and we had such a blast playing it. Like, it was so much fun.
Me and Matty aren't partners, but we did play it together.
It's really funny if you're like in a relationship, because it's like, oh my god, we really are these characters. So it was really, really fun. Like, so they have done some good things, but yeah, absolutely. Like, you should totally vote with your wallet, and if there's something you don't agree with, like, it does have effect. I mean, look, we're going off on a tangent, but look at what happened with, like, Star Wars Battlefront 2, like, and everything.
That was massive, wasn't it? Yeah.
Huge.
The most downvoted Reddit post of
ironically
history or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did fix it.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a pretty decent online game now.
Yeah, it's in a
Yeah,
good
I did
state now.
hear that. Yeah, I did hear that.
But unfortunately, it's like, what,
Yeah, too
5
little, too
years?
late.
5 years after it came out.
Yeah,
or 4.
and I think sometimes first impressions do really stick with people. Like, sometimes with a game, like, you have one chance, like, to...
That was me with Andromeda. Never finished it. Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, obviously, to me, Mass Effect 2 is probably up there with, if not my favourite game of all time.
Completely agree.
Very close. To me, that was a perfect game. It just blended everything that I like about gaming into a perfect package for me. So I was really fond of the series, and Andromeda, I unfortunately played it on day one, where the bugs were a lot more prevalent, and I just couldn't stomach it. I played it for like 4 or 5 hours, and I was like, no, what have you done? And then I do need to go back to it one day, but I have a similar sort of thought to Andromeda that I do with a lot of modern RPGs, is that the things that made Mass Effect, 1, 2, and 3 great is that they were contained, and they were rich in sort of story and content. It wasn't just a vast emptiness of nothing with nothing in it. What I love about, especially the first game, even though it's sort of walled off and there aren't really that many playable areas, if you really think about it, there's so much to do in those areas. There's things to uncover, and all 3 of the games were like that. It did an amazing job of conveying a vast space, but also compressing it enough for it to be enjoyable for the entire 20 hours of the story. And Andromeda really lost that, for me, with just the massive open world. I kind of think that's what they thought Mass Effect fans wanted, but
Yeah.
to me, it wasn't.
I think that's the problem with, and I agree with you actually, 100% wholeheartedly agree with you, because I think that is one of the big problems with open world games now, is sometimes it's quantity over quality, and that sense of we have to provide, filler or space in between, but it's not all good. And yeah, so sometimes now, like RPGs now, like they have to be, like, I'm playing Persona 5, which is a great RPG, don't get me wrong, it's amazing, but I've put like 95 hours into it, and like I'm barely 70% through it, and a lot of RPGs now, like, they're massive commitment.
Bloated, aren't they?
Yeah, they're so bloated, and not always for the best, and I think I think you're right. I think Mass Effect does get that balance of great characters, great storytelling, but it's still linear. There is some degree of exploration. There's more exploration in 1 than there was in 2 and 3, I would say. I'd say 2 and 3 became a lot more linear, but I had no problem with that, because the story was told in such a great way. The characters were written so richly that I didn't miss that. I didn't need that.
It just draws you in to keep. You want to keep finding out, don't you? You want to keep learning more about that character or the story or where it's taking you. I do agree, though, with everything you both said then. RPGs now and open world games, they just seem to be bigger and bigger, more bloated, and it's just a bit off-putting, because I prefer linear story games. When it came to Mass Effect, I do feel like they did get the blend right, because to be fair, like you said, Matty, they do a good job of making it seem vast, but it is compressed at the same time. Like, if I wanted to just play Mass Effect as a linear, just care about the story, I'll do that. You can, but I'm finding out on the Legendary Edition now, like, I am literally going everywhere, like on the map in any part of the game I'm in, just to see and talk to different, creatures, animals, species, whatever, just to find out little bits about the game, because I'm invested in it. But I know as well that if I recommend it to certain friends, I could just be like, no, you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it, because you can literally, if you want to play that story, you finish work and you think, I want a good story, you can put that on and you'll be fine. And then, because like one of the games that springs to mind, we mentioned him quite a bit, the Parry Bros, who we've had on in the past, but like one of them played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, said he'd finished work, and he's just like, I like it, but I've put in so many hours, and every time I finish work,
that is huge.
yeah, and I think, oh, I'll make a dent in it. I've played an
Yeah.
hour of it, and I'm like, I've done nothing. So it is true. I feel like it, modern RPGs, they are maybe going too far that way. So
Yeah.
to get the
It's
legendary
having to
edition is
grind,
nice.
isn't it? It's having to grind to get to the story. I think that's the main differentiation. I don't mind a game that has 100 hours worth of content if I can complete the main story in 20 hours, because then that 100 hours of content is additional content. It's not 3, 4, 5 hours of really grindy, boring quests or side missions or fetch quests or whatever it'll be just to then get to the story. It's like, well, I wanted to be at the story 5 hours ago.
Yeah, and it's almost sometimes with now with RPGs as well, they level gate things. Like the level gate elements of the story. So it's like you have to be a particular level to be able to progress to that part of the story, because the enemies are going to be more challenging. Or, you are almost punished to a degree, like if you don't, grind a little. So I like having the choice, because there will be people that are just in it for the story, and that's cool because it's an amazing story. But there are people that will want to just do everything, that are collectors and they want to cover every part of that map and 100% the game and platinum, and those sorts of gamers as well. So I like the fact that there is that freedom and that choice. Mass Effect it's my favorite. I mean, it's my favorite franchise of all time. And I'm a huge RPG gamer. Like, I've played them all probably. And I've been playing like a long time. Like, I mean, I started gaming, I think my first console was like Commodore 64, like
Nice.
really old. Yeah. And then like Mega Drive and GameCube and everything. So I've been gaming for a long time, but Mass Effect was the first time when it all clicked for me. And it was the first time I kind of saw games as like an art form, like just, they can just sweep you up into this world and this sense of escape, and just you're somewhere completely different. And it was just I don't know what it was, but it was just the writing. And I love sci-fi, so
I was going to ask what was it that drew you in initially? So it was just your love for sci-fi. So you're like, oh,
yeah, I think it's I think obviously the sci-fi setting is incredibly cool. Like that first time when you arrive at the Citadel and that scene and that music. And so it starts off very small, with just the human crew, and it's very small. And then you get on the Citadel and it just opens up. And then it's like, oh my God, like the possibilities, all these different species. And it was just so smartly written. And there was just so much heart to it as well, with all the different, the different lore and the characters. And I love the fact that it's with the trilogy that it's, you get to see these characters like develop, like not only you as Shepard and the choices that you make, and those having very, very real consequences, and getting to see that across the trilogy and feeling like you're having a say in the story. It's very cleverly done. But then you get these characters and you get to see them develop, and you see them have relationships and ups and downs and dark and light, and and I just I think it's just the characters more than anything. That's what I fell in love with, and the storytelling. And the fact that
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
and the fact like one thing I think sometimes with game franchises at the moment, and a lot of writers, is they play it too safe. Like they want to appeal to everyone. So sometimes they don't cover topics that
too scared to, maybe.
So whereas like this was just a time of just good storytelling for good storytelling's sake, you know what I mean? And like the story makes sense because that's how it progresses, and there's all different themes obviously in it, and you can read more into it. But I think it's just everything, just the writing and the characters and the music and the voice acting. Like
I must admit, it's one of the games that I think I pretty much like every character. There's very few that I think, I don't really like them. I mean, me and Matty recently did a Gears of War character list, and it turned out that we put a lot of them in the C tier, which wouldn't happen with Mass Effect, that's for sure.
A stronger character list, and they're more fleshed out. They've all got their own backstory. I I was thinking then when you were talking about the characters and their development over the story. I mean, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't played 3, but to
Yeah.
just no, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. If you forget to upgrade your ship, they all get hit on the head by a load of
Yeah.
rocks.
Just a few. Yeah, that suicide mission. Yeah, you have to make sure you do
So
everything.
bad.
Let's just say if you don't want people to die. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many times when people have reloaded saves, like play back through.
It's the
Like,
first thing I did.
yeah.
It's literally the first thing
no,
I did.
reset. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it on the second one because I actually lost Garrus. And I was like,
Oh
no
my God.
way. When that door was closing and he got shot, and I was like, I'll be all right. And it turned out he died. I was like, right, reload that. I'm not losing him. But to be fair, I wanted as well to ask Matt, like, what was that drew you in then to Mass Effect when we were a lot younger?
Oh well, I was trying to find any games to play back in 2007 because I was a OG 360 adopter, so I picked it up on the day it came out. I'd obviously, the weird thing was I wasn't really familiar with Bioware before Mass Effect, in the fact that I knew what games they made, but I never had an original Xbox. You had an original Xbox and were raving about Knights of the Old Republic. So as soon as I saw that it was Bioware, I was like, well, I'll give it a chance. And then like 2-3 hours into the game, I was like, yeah, this is for me. The combat's awful, but the story's incredible.
And we're both Star Wars fans as well, aren't we? Like you touched on the Knights of the Republic and stuff.
Yeah.
Sci-fi is such a brilliant genre for gaming. It gives you the creative license to pretty much do what you want, I guess.
Yeah,
So
100%.
it really fits in, and it was brave of them to make a new IP, and it really worked, really paid off for them.
Yeah, which I'm happy about. You know what's weird though, because obviously I probably would have been championing it, like, oh my god, it's Bioware, you got to play this. I love Knights of the Republic, like you said. I remember when I first played Mass Effect though, I feel embarrassed now. I didn't like it. I don't know why.
Not?
No, I
Really?
honestly
It
can't.
just didn't click.
Yeah, I can't remember why my reasons were as a teenager, but I was just like, nah, I'm not playing that. I've give up. And I remember it was first year of uni I was in, so that's like 2010, 11, something like that. And a friend of the show, Sud, who's also a big co-host and stuff like that, he was like, Luke, you have to play these games. You just have to. They're great. And I was like, nah, I'm in an orange. And then I got to a point I had nothing to play, and he persuaded me. He was like, mate, buy him. And I was like, okay. And I still thank him to this day. I'm so glad he did. I absolutely loved them. I just got into it, and I thought to myself, how did I not like this game? It's got everything that I like too. Your sci-fi elements and fantasy, and just different planets and galaxies, and it's like, oh my god, there's so much lore and stuff to learn about, and it's so. I think, like you touched on, Kate, like it's just escapism as well, isn't it? It's like something
It's
completely
like-
different.
Like Mass Effect for me is like more Star Trek than Star Wars. So it's that kind
Get
of
Star Trek vibes from it. to be honest.
that kind of exploration and the different and the hope
The focus on the
embodied in it.
crew. I guess.
Yeah, and the crew, and then like the different species like working together, and the the positive, more positive. There are definitely some bad things that do happen in it. Obviously, it's the Reapers, But yeah, it definitely felt more Star Trek than Star Wars. But for me, like I didn't play Mass Effect 1 when it came out in 2007. I've played Knights of the Old Republic, and I played Jade Empire, which was the other one. I played that as well from Bioware, though I had never finished both of them, which is now it's making me want to go back, but I'm kind of a bit scared of going back.
100% go back to Knights.
Really, because I'm like, will it hold up? Yeah, and they are making a remake, is what I heard of Knights of the Old Republic. It's not Bioware.
It's been rumored heavily for
another
a while. So
Fingers crossed then.
Yeah,
Fingers
me
crossed.
too. Because if they remake it, I am there day one. Absolutely. But it was actually through a friend. So, it was when Mass Effect 2 came out back in 2010. At the time, I lived in Japan for about 4 years teaching English out there, and I was actually with one of my Canadian friends that was there, and I didn't have an Xbox 360 or anything. So he was like, right, come over. I've just got Mass Effect 2. I'm going to start it tonight, and I want you to just come over and hang out and watch it. So I went over, no idea what this game, and he's obviously turned it on. done his, his shepherd and everything, started the game. And I'm not going to say what happens at the beginning because obviously spoilers, but he flipped out, like completely flipped out. He's like, what the hell? Like, and I was like, wow, like to see someone react that way, like you could tell it was a game obviously he was very passionate about. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, okay, yeah, it's no, you don't understand. And he properly flipped out. And I'm like, I have to check this series out. A series that can make someone react that way
and actually care. Yeah,
it's got to be worth a look out. So I think the next day I was like, right, I've got enough money, right, let's go to like, the nearest sort of like Den town, which is like the nearest kind of Akihabara. Got an Xbox 360, got Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2. And
you bought an Xbox 360 in Japan. Sorry to get in there, but you must have been the only person to buy one in the whole of the country.
yeah. There is a very, very small section. Like it was tiny section. But it was like really cool little section because you could actually get like foreign imported games and stuff. So it was in English, thankfully. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have got as into it. But yeah, I bought that, went home and just played it and just couldn't put it down. And I went straight from 1 to 2. And then after finishing 2, I'm like, oh my God, where is 3? Like, and then I was still there when 3 came out. And I got it, like, I ordered it like online, I think from Amazon, I forget. It was like the collector's edition, which came with a like N7 patch and different things and stuff. And I just remember this really cute old Japanese guy on a bicycle just delivering like the day before my birthday, which was like March the 6th, and like just loved it. Utterly
brilliant
loved it.
timing as well then.
Yeah, and I've been just a massive fan ever since. And then every other friend I've been like, you have to play this series, like it's amazing.
Pretty much the same with us. I think we recommend it to most people who haven't played it, to be fair, aren't we, Matt? I tell you what though, that jump from 1 to 2 is
huge.
Wow, so good. I just remember it because I remember, Matt, you told me. Yeah, you told me because you were like, mate, honestly, get through the first combat, because I was probably complaining at the time to you, and you were like, trust me, the second one is like another level. And completely right.
They completely changed it, didn't they? Like, and the powers and the simplifying things, the shortcuts. Oh, the shortcuts to your powers, and then the shortcuts for your teammates to your powers just made things so much easier.
Such an improvement.
So I am intrigued to see how they improve 2 and 3. Like, I haven't got to that point yet, but I'm very interested to see like what improvements they do put in it, if it's just a graphical fidelity thing or if it is legitimately they've put some things in there. Because the gameplay was still pretty good, but it'll be interesting to see.
It will.
I'm worried with how much they changed too.
Are you? Don't leave it. It's perfect.
Like, don't
keep it as
change
it
at all.
Yeah, I understand. I'm kind of like that too, like because I'm like it's perfect. But then that sometimes I think that's like my rose tinted glasses. It's more the memory of playing it for the first time.
It's like remastering Empire Strikes Back. It's like I can't. You can't change anything. Stop.
Yeah, we don't need any tweaks.
Oh my God! Can you imagine Twitter? It would be just
wow.
It would be awful. It would be so bad.
It would be absolute carnage
outside Disney. Just people camping out overnight. So but I am curious. I'm more interested in like how fluid it feels with the frame rate improvements and things. I'm quite interested to see that. So we'll have to sort of see. But I'm also, is the planet scanning still the same? I hope they've made that easier. Because I remember that being a thing I didn't like in Mass Effect 2 with except for the Uranus little head there, which was hilarious for ED. But I think the planet scanning was probably the worst part of it. But everything else was just the loyalty missions were just.
Oh, I loved them. Yeah, that was so one of the few things I like always go back to, always got enjoyment out of. I mean, I don't know why I said few things. There's loads of things I get enjoyment about, but like the top end of my enjoyment. And to be fair, every time I've gone back to 2, I mean, again, this, like you touched on, might be rose tinted glasses, but I've never felt outdated. Every time I was playing, I was just like, oh, it just feels so good to be back in this universe. But like, I'll ask you both now. Then I already know your answer though, Marty. To be fair, but I'll let you give your reason why. But favorite Mass Effect out of the trilogy?
2.
Yeah, it's definitely two.
Across the board,
I think
then.
most
We're all
people it's
two.
two. Yeah, I think for one it was for the initial lore building in the world, obviously. But two has got it all. It's got amazing gameplay segments. Music's amazing. The characters are though where it's at, and the story and everything, and how it just ups the stakes and stuff. Yeah, and then the DLC is fab as well. Like all
I've not played it.
Oh, you haven't played the DLC?
Now's your chance.
Now is my chance.
Yeah, now is your chance because you got all 40 of them in there. Oh, yeah, the DLC in 2 is incredible because you have like the DLC characters, Kasumi and obviously Zaid. Kasumi's amazing. She's incredible. Zaid's okay. He's okay. He's funny. He has
He's
his
the
moments.
South African guy, yeah.
Yeah. The tough guy, the mercenary. Basically, he's a hired mercenary. Do anything for money, effectively. But the DLC is incredible. Like Overlord and Arrival, which is great. You should definitely play that after finishing the game. Lair of the Shadow Broker is like one of my favorite DLCs of the entire trilogy. Good. It's incredible.
Did you play it,
Really
Mike?
good.
Yeah. I 100% in Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
I literally, and then just never touched it again. Just wrapped it in polythene.
Just played it like the one time. Did you ever
put it on a shrine? No, I've played multiple
Look like
playthroughs.
you chucked it then.
Yeah. Keep it
Multiple
pristine.
playthroughs to get the 100%, but once I'd 100%ed it, I've not touched it for how many years is that? At least a decade.
Yeah, 10 plus years.
So yeah, I'm a little bit hesitant going back to play it, but yeah, going back to the question, Mass Effect 2 is the best by miles. Like Mass Effect 3 really let itself down without going into the obvious spoilers in the last third of the game. It was really poor.
It was doing so well up until that moment. Though.
I want to ask your opinions on it, though. We this is going to be spoiler then for Mass Effect 3 and the ending of the trilogy. So you are warned here, because I do want to get your opinions because
what we chose.
Yeah, what you chose and what you thought.
Okay, so up until the ending, I was like, I loved the story. I loved the resolution of the genophage and the Geth and what they did with the Geth and the Quarians was fab. And then the final bit where you know, if you've done it all right and you played the multiplayer and 100%, you know, you turn up and it's like, oh, this is going to be epic. But yeah, once you get to the freaking Godchild, like... Just that's what I call it, the Godchild. Yeah, obviously you've got the MacGuffin of the, you know, the catalyst and everything. It is a MacGuffin, that's what it is. It's like, well, how else are we going to take on the Reapers?
Yeah,
like they're freaking huge. But like
that
the ending
annoys me so much.
I was legitimately, actually, it's what inspired me to make my channel.
Really,
the ending. Yeah, because
pure frustration.
It was just like talking to everybody about it and obviously what was going on. And then I think afterwards, obviously, there was the indoctrination theory that came out and all the theories surrounding
it was people really, really desperate to try and
make any sense out of this. And yeah, there was just a lot of inconsistencies, like with, like, you know, Joker would never do that, and that's just stupid. Josh Shepard would never say that, and just forgetting, like, you know, forgetting everything that we've done. It just felt like it was written by someone, obviously, as we know, completely different, that hadn't done any of the writing previously. It just felt rushed, I think, was the problem with it.
I think they just ran out of resources. I think at that point in the game, Mass Effect had always had the illusion that you were making meaningful choices throughout 1, 2, and then when it got to the end, it was like, okay, well, if we actually have to make like 10 different endings, depending on what choices you've made, then we're not going to be able to make the game. So but the decision to just make just a binary sort of choose option 1, 2, or 3, this is your ending, with no even indicate. It was. You didn't even have any indication in which option was which. I was just like, what is this?
Yeah. Different colours though.
Well, that's it. It just and the laziness of it, I think it was, with the final, you know, the final scenes are the same, just with slightly tweaks.
Yep.
Like of the red, blue, and green, and I obviously I chose red. I chose destroy. It was
same.
The only choice for me, because it was like, well, control is clearly, this is totally spoiler, by the way, spoiler territory, obviously. But control was obviously what, you know, the elusive man wanted. Well, he's a bad guy. I'm not going to pick the choice that he won. And synthesis is actually what Saren wanted in the original, you know, Mass Effect, which was for synthetics and organics to coexist and sort
Yeah.
of become one. So I was like, no, it's a trick. It's a trick. It's a trick. So I was like, I only chose destroy. But then you kind of get robbed because you get like a breathing scene, but you don't get to see. It was like
not
Bioware felt that they
satisfaction.
couldn't give a happy ending. Like, if you'd done all the right stuff and you'd been Paragon and you hadn't made stupid choices and you'd done this and it's like, come on now, guys. Like, it's okay to have one ending.
That's happy.
Because because all the choices that you had made had consequences up to that point. You got to see that throughout the game. So I think them choosing a single linear ending and how good your ending gets and how good the epilogue is depends on the choices that you made. That would have been fine.
Agreed.
No,
They should have had one ending. They should have had one ending and left it open. We've discussed this actually on the last video when we are talking about Gears of War. The first 3 Gears of War, at the end of the third Gears, felt like the time to end the series. Felt about right. I don't think Mass Effect 3 felt like the time to end the series. People weren't ready for it to just disappear. You know what I mean? And I feel like if they'd left it more open-ended, it would have given them a lot more to play with in this new trilogy that they're making, especially with, Andromeda's had to pretty much start again. And people didn't really like it. It's like you've invested so much into this universe. Yeah, I don't want to be in a different universe. I want to be in the same universe that I was last in. It didn't feel it didn't feel like it was ready to end with 3, put it that way.
Well, with the ending of 3 though, Matt, what was your choice?
I honestly, I can't even remember. I literally can't even remember.
Okay.
That's how uninterested I was at the end. I think I was just so furious at the time. I used to get a lot more angry with games.
I can vouch for that.
And I just got I got and just saw 3 sort of generic endings, and I was like, half my crew had died in the suicide mission without me even knowing what to do, and then it was just like, whatever. I'm just gonna pick anything.
Yeah.
I think I did go for destroy because I seem to remember the ending being related to that, but it was just based on pure randomness. It could have been anything. You might as well just thrown a dice at that point.
Yeah, that was the disappointing thing, though, wasn't it? It felt like a letdown. I remember though, I was kind of pre-warned.
Pleasing everyone, but
it was going to be hard. I was pre-warned though by the guys because they'd already played it before me. Like, they didn't ruin anything, but they're just like, we didn't like the ending. And so when I'm going into it, I'm like, oh my god. And when I did complete it, I went destroy as well, because to me it just felt like the right thing to do. That was what the whole point of the journey was to destroy the Reapers and get rid. So when I got to that point and I did destroy, even though it was the ending I wanted to do, I was just a bit like, but this doesn't satisfy me. I feel like I'm just, I don't know. I think it's not even meh, because I think I was pretty disappointed / angry, because I was just like, oh my god, all that for that.
Yeah, I felt like they needed another act.
Yeah.
Like they needed another, like a post Reaper kind of act where you actually get to see like the consequences and how the galaxy's going to rebuild and what's been learnt from it, kind of thing. I think that would have been good. Possibly you could have still had Shepard going around with a Normandy, and you're a Spectre at the end of the day, so going around and putting out little fires and going to different planets and sort of seeing, and that would have still left it open. They could have even done that in a game afterwards.
100%.
And people probably would have still done it. But yeah, I think, I mean, obviously there's the rumors that there was going to be a different ending, obviously, and the main guy that wrote for 1 and 2 wasn't around for 3, Drew Karpyshyn. And there are the rumors about the ending would be a bit different, and some, because it was like there were things that happened in 2 that were never mentioned in 3, like the human Reaper and everything, obviously, that happens at the end of 2, and you're like, where the hell's that? Kind of thing. And like that was all going to be tied in, which is really fascinating when you read about it, and you're like, okay. I think Bioware I am excited for the next Mass Effect. I do want to see where they're going to go with it, and obviously there are heavy hints that potentially Liara is going to be in it. Obviously with the teaser trailer and everything. But how far in the future it's going to be, because Asari lived to be like 1,000 years old, right? So maybe we'll still have Rex, Granddaddy Rex. Can you imagine that? That would be awesome. Granddaddy Rex with like 200 Krogan children or something stupid like that. Probably 2,000 knowing Rex. But like, so it's kind of a little bit like,
Yeah.
you've kind of written yourself into a corner, and where are you going to go? And are you just going to drop Andromeda like a hot potato and pretend it never existed? Because
I think they will,
do you think so? I mean,
do.
to a degree, Andromeda, I'm like you, with Andromeda, I'm like, yeah, it wasn't as good as the trilogy, but it was never going to stand up to the trilogy because that was something different and special. And it was a one game.
Yeah.
The trilogy had 3 games to
Fleshed
fully
out a
develop.
story. Yeah.
That story and those characters, and it's over the 3 games that you became really attached to the world and the characters and everything. So I feel like Andromeda should have, could have gotten better.
By the end, honestly, by the end of Andromeda, I was like, "Oh, I'd like to see where the story goes." But obviously,
the story gets more interesting. I will say that because you played like 4 hours, did you say, of the beginning of it? So really, at the beginning of it, it does get better. It does get better as you play through the story. But yeah, I mean the crew. I mean, like, yeah, there are some of the crew like Vetra and Drac that like are really cool. PB's cool, not very sorry, like, but very cool. But Ryder is a main.
Yeah,
like
boring.
just didn't boring compared to
Especially
Shepard.
Shepard. Yeah, that's
right?
the problem.
Like, how do you live up to Commander Shepard? Like it's a bit difficult. I mean, you're a badass N7. Like, how do you? So I feel like maybe choosing the boy or the girl kind of thing was I don't know. So, but maybe who knows? But
I feel like I feel like Andromeda suffered 2 times. One, obviously coming off the trilogy, and then people expecting it to be like this massive epic hit, and then obviously it came out and there was bugs and stuff, so people already pop by that. But I think as well, in my opinion, I mean, obviously it could be totally wrong, but I really felt like because the fan base was so upset with how the 3rd one ended, to then get a game where it was just like, yeah, we're not going to really answer that, by the way. We're going to a completely different galaxy, so we don't have to worry about that. And then a lot of people like, what? No, that's a cop out. I'm not going along with that.
They did like a little Easter egg, didn't they? With
you respect it?
I respect that decision to try and bring it into a new era. I just think it didn't really hit. Like the problem that you've got now is that they're caught between a rock and a hard place because they've essentially we're in familiar territory with Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars all over again, Eldon, in the way that, again, spoiler alert, the Emperor comes back. But the Emperor was dead, and they've hinted at the Reapers coming back. But it's like, no, the whole point of the trilogy was to stop the Reapers, and now they're back. It's just like, well, you're basically saying that my entire first journey was pointless in a way. So it's like, I really hope that's been hinted at in the trailer. Obviously, you hear a Reaper in the trailer, so I'm assuming that they're coming back in some way or form.
I'm hoping it's just like a callback to nostalgia on the trailer. Maybe.
I hope so, because
fingers crossed.
Sometimes it's not always good. And I, even as a developer, and I've covered this, talked about this myself many times, that the community might want that, the fans might want that, but that might not necessarily be what is the best thing for the franchise and for the story and for the story that you want to tell. At the end of the day, it's your game, you're developing it. Tell the story you want to tell. Yes, you want to please people, but there is a degree where you can do that too much.
Agreed.
That it's a case of it's actually detrimental. Like what you said with the Emperor in like Star Wars, and it's like they did that because they thought, oh, people are like that, and it'll get people, hyped or whatever. And so I kind of want something new, but some familiarity. You want some things familiar, obviously, the races and things like that. But I liked like some of the new races, like the Angorans in is it the Angorans in Mass Effect Andromeda, like the Angorans.
I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
I liked them. I thought they were really interesting. I actually thought that Andromeda, the main issue it had with the story is it actually in effect it played it too safe because the Ket are basically the Reapers, sort of. It's got the same themes and the same
beats, didn't it?
Storylines, the same story beats. The AI versus organics and blah blah blah, and it's the same kind of story beats and stuff. So it was just like, do something different.
You're taking us to a whole new galaxy. So you do something
totally out of the out of left field that we don't see coming. So I feel like it was a bit. A little bit like what again to go into Star Wars, but Star Wars Force Awakens was that.
Very
It was
sick,
a new hope. Every story beat was effectively a new hope, you know. It's just the Death Star was a bloody planet, you know,
See,
instead of an actual space station.
Going off on the tangent, I felt like with Star Wars, because of people not liking the prequels, and funny enough, now a lot of people have changed their mind on that, but they thought, oh well, we'll do Force Awakens because we want to bring the trilogy safely back into the good books, and I feel like they set it up okay enough, whereas like. Yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes. Okay, and I think I feel like Andromeda maybe thought kind of similar. Okay, if we play it a little bit safe, so they got some sort of feeling like, oh, I've kind of experienced this before, but I like it because I like the first one. But it just didn't hit as well, did it? And obviously, I mean, unfortunately, yeah, it looks like, in my opinion, I think Andromeda's done. I don't think they're gonna harken back to it at all.
It's quite interesting actually, because obviously people have been playing through the Mass Effect Legendary. Playing obviously 1, 2, 3 again, and I've had a few people, because obviously, you know, people in the comments and stuff going, do you know what, I might give Andromeda another go, like after playing 1, 2, and 3, and actually see if it's better, you know, with all the bugs fixed and all the glitches, and actually give that story another chance.
That could be you, Mike.
Because the gameplay is actually really fun in Andromeda. I mean, the flexibility, the jetpack, and the flexibility with your powers, and the gameplay is fab, and the gunplay is great. You know, it's really good. So it'd be interesting, and I'm actually considering, once I finish the trilogy, God knows how long that's going to take me to do, because I also am like playing Biomutant Frontier, so it's like utterly insane. Yeah, it's like, God damn it, not enough time in the day. But like, yeah, so I'm actually considering going and checking out Andromeda again, and playing through Andromeda and giving it another chance. You know, before. Well, I didn't hate it, you know what I mean? And I think it got meme to hell, obviously, but a lot of the criticism was overly harsh, I think, with that game franchise.
I agree. I think it was okay.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it, even though I'd only played it for 5 hours. It wasn't the fact that I was obviously had a sort of sour taste in my mouth from Mass Effect 3, so I was like, right, well, here's your chance to give me Mass Effect again. And then, you know, like 4 or 5 hours in, I'd seen so many glitches and just
threw you out of it, yeah.
Lackluster, and I was just like, no, I don't want to do it to myself. I'm not going to commit the 50 to 100 hours to complete this game just to be disappointed, you know. So
I honestly, though, Matt, once you complete the Legendary Edition, I think you should give it a try.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it's on obviously EA Access, whatever it's called, that comes with Game Pass now, so you can pretty much
get it. That Game Pass now is value for money. It's incredible. Because I'm playing mine on PC at the moment, Legendary Edition, but I don't have Andromeda on PC. I think I have it on PS4. Did it come out on? Yeah, it did, didn't it? It was current gen.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But I might get it on PC possibly, just so I can keep them all on one platform. But I'm playing Legendary Edition on PC at the moment, and I'm playing with a controller because I don't do keyboard and mouse for third-person shooters and things like that. But I'm enjoying it, and I've had the odd bug with it, like in terms of like guns. I had like one scene, I was like, Gareth, where's your weapon? Did you leave it on the Normandy? Like, where is your gun? So I've had the odd really funny bug where like they clearly stood there and should be holding what should be a sniper rifle, but doesn't have anything in his hands, talons, whatever. But other than that, nothing majorly sort of game breaking or really bad. It's been quite stable, and the frame rate has been great. Oh, the frame rate's been so good.
I don't think the bugs are sort of exclusive to PC anyway. Like I've had a few bugs in the Series X version. So, and again, weirdly, I'm playing at 120 FPS, which is bizarre. So, it's the only console that can do that on. 120 FPS. Wow. It's literally probably 5-6 times the amount of FPS I got on the 360.
Yeah.
I'm very doubtful that Mass Effect 1 ever even hit 30 FPS on the original Xbox.
I don't think it did. No. I'm looking forward to like 2 and 3, especially because that's when if you're using your powers, especially 3 when you've got your power combos and stuff, like that frame rate is going to be amazing because you'll be able to use them a lot quicker and a lot more fluid and stuff. So that should make for some really fun gameplay. But I'm not looking forward to Banshees. I'm really not looking forward to Banshees. Like I still get nightmares. Oh, no, it's that scream.
Yeah, savor those moments and delay that.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm looking forward to playing 2 and 3 and just seeing how it's improved.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Before we do go, though, I do want to ask about characters quickly. I wanted to get your opinions on your favorite characters in the franchise. I know it's a difficult one, but
Yeah, that's
The
hard.
keepers.
The keepers, because of the mystery.
The
They're so
intrigue.
efficient. They're so efficient. They do their job so well. Yep,
Why is the
never say a
Citadel,
word.
such a free, liberal place, got slaves working for them? That's the biggest mystery.
Didn't they say that they just turned up and they were there already, though?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
were
when they
already there.
arrived, they were there from when the Citadel was first discovered. I think by the Asari were the first ones that
Yeah, I
discovered
think
it.
it was them.
But yeah, no one quite knows where they come from or where they go.
No.
And if you try to take a picture or scan them or something, they just disappear or something like
Yeah, and you get told off you're not allowed to scan or whatever.
that.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, who would be your favourite characters then other than the keepers?
Garrus. Everyone's favourite character is Garrus, isn't it?
Well, it's mine.
Should we
yeah.
just leave? Should we
love
just
Garrus.
accept that Garrus is in his own tier? I think that's already been discussed on this podcast before by you and Sud.
He
Put
was.
Garrus in the SS tier on his own, and then you can have your favourite character below that.
Man, I love Garrus so much.
Yeah.
Garrus and Liara are the best for me.
Yeah. I love Gareth. Bro, basically. He's he's always got my back. I always let him win the snipers competition. But he's amazing.
yeah.
He's so good. And in 1 he's okay, but it's in 2, in Mass Effect 2 and then 3 where he really comes into his own. But
Yeah.
he's just he's just amazing. He's Gareth. He's so well written and he's just so badass.
Yeah, he
He's
is,
so
isn't he?
badass. He's just Taurian cool. That's what I call it. He's just Taurian cool.
Most people do like him, to be fair, as well. I think the majority of people. I don't know many people who don't like him. If any.
Not many. Yeah, I think there's one of my friends that said he played Mass Effect 1. He hasn't played 2 and 3. And he's like, and he actually said, I don't like Garrus. And I'm like, I'm sorry. What? I'm like, hold on. We have to reassess our friendship right now. I was like, no, keep playing it. Get to 2. And he's like, okay, I will. So he's actually going to pick up, I think, Legendary Edition.
Nice.
But yeah, I love Garrus. And then I love Liara too. She's amazing. She is so her character development from 1, 2, and 3, she probably has one of the biggest character development arcs, I think, across it, because she goes quite naive in 1 and a bit socially awkward, she's not stuck on her Prothean dig sites forever. But then when she becomes, I don't want to say any spoilers, but with what happens she's very, very well voice acted as well. And Ali Hill is it that does her?
Yeah.
She's incredible. And then Tally and Rex. I love Grunt as well. I love the Krogan. I love the
Rex is
Krogans.
great, yeah.
Rex is just awesome. Put a shotgun in his. I played it recently and I did Pharos, where you meet the Thorian for the first time, and his reaction to that is just hilarious. It's you brought me to a fight ship and I'm happy. He doesn't care what's going on with the story. Just as long as he can shoot someone,
He's already. He's already. He's always ready, even to drop bombs.
Yeah. And but yeah, and I like Tally as well. I think Tally's great. She's
like
a really,
Tally.
really, really good character. But it's just funny, isn't it? It's you ask anyone, it's the alien characters.
Always, yeah.
There's never much love for Caden or Ashley.
I really don't like Caden.
Do you not?
No. And do you know what? I really wanted to like him because it's the same voice actor as Karth Onasi in Knights of the Old Republic, and I like.
Oh yeah.
I like Karth, but I don't
Wow.
like Caden.
Yeah, I think he's just a bit dull, and Jacob as well. He's the same.
Same with all
It's
the
just a bit
characters, really.
dull. You know what I mean? Because I played Femshep, as in my first playthrough. Because for me it was just, as a girl gamer, it's just amazing, to have a really strong female character, and whether you chose male or female, it was the same.
Yeah.
you know, and
Both badasses.
it was incredible. And Jennifer Hale's just amazing. She's utterly incredible. And but like the romance options, like for a female like femme shepherd, like, really, Jacob and Caden, really, like
That's
so
limited.
yeah, it's really limited. So like they just be really really boring.
Well, I just romanced the most awkward characters in all of my playthroughs. So I did one playthrough as obviously like my first playthrough was with male shepherd, and then I did another playthrough with female shepherd like later on to get the insanity playthrough in Mass Effect 2 and things like that. And I think in my female playthrough I just ended up romancing Garrus just for banter. Just because it's so awkward, it's like it would never work. And it's exactly the same with the male shepherd. I romanced Tally.
Oh yeah.
She's in a spacesuit and can't take it off.
Yeah, I know. Because I think she renews the mask like once, is it in 3? I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's great. Like it's just Garrus is just so awkward. Like he doesn't know how to flirt, and he doesn't know how to. And the bit where you do the dancing, I think in Mass Effect 3, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
The tango scene is just hilarious. So much fun. But I think people just like that because I think it makes him really endearing. Because it's like he clearly isn't, you know. Garrus is good at sniping things. He's not good at romance, but it makes him more endearing, I think, you know, just because it's out of his comfort zone. But that's what I'm saying. Like these characters, like we're talking about them like they're real people. Like they're not, but like because they're so well written and they're so well acted, and it kind of brings them to life, and it's crazy. It's like, yeah. So I think that's one of the things that people love about it. They still talk about their experiences. Who did you romance? What was your favorite scene? What was that? You know,
I
think that's what makes it special.
Most of the characters are all pretty much done well, in my opinion. Like I probably touched on, I can't remember if I said it before, but yeah, there's not many that I don't like. I mean, I know I just mentioned Caden, but yeah, well.
Well, in terms of the humans, you've got to mention Joker. I think Joker's the only redeemable human.
I love our Joker. He's awesome.
He's great.
Oh,
I'd take him out with me if I could. I'd take him into combat in his wheelchair.
Can you imagine if he's some kind of spacesuit or something, like some kind of robotic spacesuit that just carries him around. I just have Edie there, like just taking everyone out. I love Joker, and he's voice acted by Seth Green, and Seth Green's amazing.
He does a perfect job, doesn't he? Really,
it's just that sass that he has. That's what I love about him. Like he's just funny. Yeah. But yeah, I like Joker. I liked Miranda in Mass Effect 2. I thought she was really good. And Jack is just crazy.
Yeah, she's crazy. She's crazy.
Yeah. On a Renegade playthrough, she's perfect. Like on a Renegade playthrough. But yeah, like so. There are some good human characters, but the aliens are more.
Yeah, they're just more interesting, aren't they?
The species are more interesting. Something new and different.
Exactly. But that's probably a good place to end the podcast. We have discussed everything Mass Effect, obviously, with N7 Kate. So we really appreciate you coming on. And where can people find you on any socials you'd like to plug? Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter, really easy, at N7 Kate. I kept it simple and short, which is good. I also have a YouTube channel, which again is just N7K if you look it up on there. I do a lot of content. I've been doing a lot of Mass Effect stuff, obviously, recently, given the Legendary Edition, but I do tons of stuff on there. And then I also stream on both YouTube and Twitch, which you can get at Twitch TV /N7Kate. Perfect. And I'll put all the links in the description below as well for you. So cool. Thank you. Definitely click on them and check them out. For sure. And you can also follow the podcast on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ChatReachPod. You can also join our Discord. Links are in the description below for that too. And if you are listening to us on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts on Mass Effect, the topics we covered. Let us know who your favourite characters were and stuff like that. Be good to know. And if you are listening to us on any audio platforms, leave us a nice review, pass on the pod. Again, help us to grow. Really appreciate it. So thanks very much for that. You can also follow me and Matty on social media. Where can people find you, mate? It's just at Matty Cheatham on Instagram. Don't have anything else yet. Just keep plugging that Instagram. You'll be all right. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at LEL3Ds, add a 9am for Instagram. But anyway, thanks once again, Kate. Really appreciate it. Good chat and thoroughly enjoyed from me and Matty, I'm sure. So we hope to have you maybe on the podcast again one day soon. So I'd love that. That'd be awesome. Me, I'm always up for talking anything gaming. So yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, maybe we'll have some Mass Effect news at E3.
Oh
I'm
my
clutching at
God.
straws there. But
Yeah, I don't think it's likely, but it would be awesome if it was.
It would be, but yeah, the time will tell. We'll see soon enough. Anyway, but wherever you're listening to this in the world, we hope you have a good day or night, and we'll be back even next week to speak some more gaming news. Bye, guys.
see you later.
Bye, guys.